Welcome back to Interiors with Inside Elements. I'm Emily Loughlin, the founder and principal designer of Inside Elements. In previous episodes of our YouTube channel, we've discussed how you, the client, can define your personal style, how to find your interior designer, and how you and your designer can combine your styles to create the perfect look for your home. Today, we're here in Inside Elements offices to discuss mood boards and inspiration to help you and your designer understand and realize your final goals. There's a few ways that your designer can present the colors and materials that you'll be using in your project. The classic way is to present a physical mood board like this, where we combine different materials and colors for you to see in person how everything will combine together into your final product. Another way to present a mood board that can be equally as effective is a digital mood board, such as this one, which is presented on a computer screen. Here you can see a combination of colors, patterns, and textures. Before we even get to mood boards, we need to understand what the client is trying to achieve. As we've mentioned in previous episodes, we often ask the client to spend some time noticing what is holding their attention throughout their day. What colors, what patterns, what textures are they gravitating toward? When they walk into a store, what makes them enjoy or not enjoy the space that they're in? From here, we ask the client to probably start something like their own Pinterest board. This way we can collaborate together and follow each other in real time. Using something like Pinterest might seem really easy and trivial, but it's actually incredibly helpful to both the client and the designer. Once we have the entire Pinterest board together, we can really start to narrow down what it is that is holding the client's attention. In general, on their Pinterest board, we'll be able to notice the consistencies throughout the images. Whether they've pulled an image of a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room, there's generally going to be a similar texture, a similar color, something in there that we can narrow down and decide this is what their style really is. So the images help people to display what's in their head when it might not be so easy to do so verbally. From there, we can start to pull literal versions of these mood board items. So if we put a picture of a soft, fluffy rug on a digital mood board for someone, we can then pull an actual physical sample that they can touch, feel, understand what that texture looks like in real life. While a digital mood board plus physical samples might seem a little bit redundant, it's really not. All it does is allow us to offer way more options up front to a client. We can show you 5 types of velvet. We can show you 6 different fluffy carpets and see which one you actually like before taking the time to pull samples and finalize the plan. Once we have decided on our color palette with the client, that's when we really start to dig into our physical samples. For this particular client, they liked neutrals and rust colors, so we came into the office and pulled a bunch of neutrals and rust colors. Here we brought them some very interesting carpets that have some pattern so that we can try to add a little bit of character into their home where they might not have thought to do so. A lot of times clients that are really into neutrals are a little bit scared of pattern. Here we have totally neutral tones, but very different textures that can add some depth into the room without scaring the client with too much pattern. There are some awesome clients that like the new patterns that we've suggested to them. We always tell people to keep an open mind and see what it might add to the room. For example, this pattern here this is a fabric that comes with a matching wallpaper. We combined these 2 pieces in the same room and it turned out to be amazing. The client was super happy and they never would have thought to do that on their own. Once you, the client, and we, the designers, have gotten to a mutual point where we have added some new textures, patterns to your preferred style, it's time to start incorporating pieces that you might already own. This can be super scary for some clients when they have a sofa or a table that has been loved for many, many years, but that might not fit into the style they're trying to achieve now. Your designer can be a huge help in this situation because you're bringing in a fresh set of eyes to look at the piece alongside with all of the fresh new ideas that you have. A really good example of this is a client we recently had owned a 10-foot sofa that they had purchased for a previous home. It fit perfectly into the style of their old house, and the size still fit perfectly into their new house. And as you can imagine, buying a 10-foot sofa is no small feat. That is enormous. So they didn't want to throw it out because it had the wrong material and have to start over. That also would be really, really costly to throw out a 10-foot sofa and buy a completely new one. So instead of throwing it out and spending way too much money on something brand new, we suggested reupholstering the sofa. When we removed the blue velvet and replaced it with a rust color, all of a sudden their sofa fit perfectly into their new style and their whole home came together into one beautiful picture. Reupholstering a sofa is kind of an extreme example of making an old piece of furniture feel fresh and new. There's other ways that you can do this. In that exact example, we could have kept the sofa blue, but maybe we changed the throw pillows that were on the sofa, or maybe we put a really beautiful blanket over the back of the sofa. Another option would be to put a carpet on the opposite side of the room where they had an extended dining table and another seating area. And if we had put a carpet beyond the dining table that had a bit of blue in it, all of a sudden that blue would make sense and carry through the entire space. So this is just a different way that you can make that blue stand out and still feel relevant in your new space with your new style. Even with that very easy example of tying the blue in again to their new space, there's no way you can really get to that end goal without starting with mood boards, digital and physical. Thanks for tuning into this episode and coming and visiting our office. For more tips and tricks on how to realize your perfect space and how best to work with a professional interior designer, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, check us out on Instagram @InsideElements. Hope to see you later.